Yes, hello? I'm very busy. Hello? Yes, hello? Hello? No, go away! No, sell, sell, sell! Not buy, buy, buy! Okay, goodbye! No, what? Jobs, eh? What are they like? Fun, apparently. Sorry, I'm going through a tunnel. Good old jobs. But while we all love jobs, wouldn't it be nice sometimes to get away from it all? Get out from behind the desk? Well, why not go on a holiday? Let's just check the old calendar and see when our next leave is. Oh. Okay, so you can't get time off for a holiday in, well, forever. Sure, in this economy. With this pay? I know, Janice, I'm going through a tunnel. Bye! Okay, so holidays are out of the question. For us mere mortals, we're not in management, where they can work from home and get paid a reasonable wage. But what if you don't have to leave the office? What if you bring the holiday to you through the medium of video games? Hooray! Dungeons of Hinterberg is just that, a holiday in video game form. The Alps are calling and they're filled with monsters, like Janice from HR. Yep, I'll do the disciplinary training. Jeremy! In Dungeons of Hinterberg, you play the role of Louisa, a lawyer who has become disillusioned with her life. I couldn't possibly imagine what that's like. She decides to take an extended holiday to the alpine town of Hinterberg, like the name of the game. A great idea! See the sights, meet the local people. So relaxing. It's just so nice to get away from it all, you know? Also, there are dungeons filled with monsters to kill. Yes, Hinterberg is a little unique, in that around its alpine cliffs, a series of mysterious portals have opened up, and they're filled with critters to chop, kill, and crush. An ideal retreat. I'll tell you what, there are a couple of people in this office that I'd like to chop, kill, and crush. Hello, is that HR? It's a pretty cool idea. Your quiet mountain getaway isn't quite as serene as you expected it to be, as the best way to clear your head is to clear the head off of the local fauna. Not these fauna. These fauna. Your first foray into the dungeon sees you getting to grips with how you'll be spending the next month of your life. Hitting with stick, climbing ledge, and solving puzzles. It's the whole point of the getaway. But this isn't some medieval fantasy setting. A town lost to time where you're wearing whatever pelts you can staple to yourself. No, this is a cool modern setting where you're wearing trendy sports equipment and you've got a gun! Marketing have told me to inform you that you do not in fact have a gun. Yes, I'm telling them. Invariably, something has gone wrong. The dungeon isn't as it used to be and everything's a little more dangerous than usual. Heck, you could even die. You'll also one day die working that boring desk job, so may as well make death exciting. Your holiday may be predominantly focused around murder, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy the local town. In fact, it's heavily advised by the tourism board. It's good for the economy. See? It's good to just interact with the locals. Oh my god, they're all ghosts. Your day is broken up into 4 segments: morning, noon, afternoon, and night. Morning is a glorified menu, so let's just ignore that, and we'll go into noon later. Your afternoons, though, are when you return to the town from your day of travels, and are free to experience the local culture. There's a cinema, I never went. There's a restaurant, I never went. You could go on a boat ride across the lake, I didn't. Or even hit up the local spa for a relaxing time. Nope. So just what do you spend your time doing? Dungeons of Hinterberg has a delightful social link aspect, much like the Persona games, except if Persona replaced the grimy urban Japanese environment with the verdant natural Swiss mountains. Both are kinda cool though. But importantly, it means the town is filled with people for you to chat with. Ah, Christ, what's happening? Now, I know what you're thinking. Don't I suffer enough in my office life listening to the office manager talk for 30 minutes about how they bought a cinnamon roll, which then proceeded to make their bag smell like cinnamon due to buying a cinnamon roll, and how people will now say that their bag smells like cinnamon, and then they'll explain it's because they bought a cinnamon roll from the cinnamon roll place, so their bag now smells like cinnamon because it's due to the cinnamon roll that they bought, which they put in their bag. Making it smell like cinnamon. The answer is yes, that is a hell which we must all suffer, and one day we will perish to the sound of cinnamon in a bag. But Dungeons of Hinterberg has characters that aren't insufferable, a real step up from the actual office. Okay, yes, the streamer person is painfully obnoxious, and requires you to have enough fun points to even talk to them. But others provide interesting stories and all sorts for you to get involved in. The local teenager provides an interesting counter perspective to the boom in tourism. The dog is, well, a dog. Or you might get involved in saving Hannah's business from being shut down by enlisting the help of the other slayers in the area. Of those, you've got Renaud, the dark and brooding guy who takes life too seriously and just needs to open up a little. But he'll also only talk to you once you've made a bit of a name for yourself. There's not enough time on your holiday to talk to everyone, so you get to make snap and immediate decisions on who fills you with a deep hatred, and that you'll avoid at all costs. If that proves too difficult, or I guess too mean, then you can reduce everyone down to whatever they contribute personally to you. Just like in every job you've ever been in. You're not a person with feelings, you're just a number of attributes to create spreadsheets for someone else. Hannah lets you upgrade your equipment if you befriend her. The dog lets you find a hidden dungeon. The old lady just gives you cold, hard cash. There are plenty of benefits to be gained from befriending anyone and everyone. That office life doesn't quite leave you in its entirety though, as your holiday is measured in 4 factors: amusement, relaxation, familiarity, and renown. These are your social stats that sometimes gate who you can talk to and where you can go. You boost them by talking to specific people. The streamer boosts your amusement, the teams your familiarity. Or you can do various activities in town and the world. Or you can just spend all night watching TV and hope it doesn't have any negative effects on your day. Hinterberg is surrounded by a variety of lovely biomes to explore. The mountain trails of Doberkogel, with its steep cliffs and secret lakes. The forests of Hinterwald. Hear the wind as it blows through the leafy hollows. Take to the snow mountaintops of Kolmstein and discover hidden ice caves. Or maybe even go visit the swamps of Brunelsumpf and paddle through the toxic green waters that will kill you instantly if it gets on you. That last one sounds a lot less pleasant. No, I've not joined the Hinterberg Tourist Board. I'm forever trapped in whatever nondescript administrative role that will see my soul slowly vacate my body until I eventually die. On your journeys through each map, you'll find all sorts of hidden nooks with items, but also a variety of peaceful spots to take a moment, relax, and just be one with nature. But each location has its own flavour, beyond just simple colour designation, because one of the colours is grey. Something that should probably be on the brochure is the fact that you get actual magic, which gives you, well, actual magic. Could you imagine the spreadsheets I could make with magic? They'd really make my presentations look good. Finally get through all this paperwork? That'll show Steve. It's Steve. With each location brings new spells, which assist in passing all sorts of obstacles in the world, like these cool spikes. Ow, 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 dead. Instead, you whip up a whirlwind and now you're floating over all of your problems, haha! On the snowy slopes of Colmstein, you got an actual magical snowboard to do some actual magical snowboarding, and it's kind of rad. Sadly, despite being a game predominantly set in the mountains, you rarely hit that sense of the sublime. You're hiking along a cliff and you're just walled in by, well, all of these walls. You should be able to see endless vistas the entire time. I shouldn't have to go to the very edge of a cliff and risk the call of the void finally freeing me from my endless administrative torment. Finally, freedom awaits! I see why they've installed walls now. Yeah. Okay, bye, love ya. That was my manager. Christ. But the thing is, this game is gorgeous. It's bright, it's colourful, it's got this wonderful art style that just really pops off the screen. So, I wanted there to be more. Just, well, the world. Occasionally, you might find yourself atop a mountain peak or within a crystal cave, and suddenly it hits you. The world stretches out, and it's majestic. There should be more of this. This is what holidaying in the Alps is all about. I assume, again, I've never had a holiday. I've been, well, here. That's right, while I may be chained to my desk in a metaphorical dungeon that has no reasonable escape, no matter how many inappropriate emails I send. I know, Janice, I'm not actually sending the emails. Leave me alone! In Dungeons of Hinterberg, there are fantasy dungeons to overcome. It's literally the other part of the name of the game. Like, see? Right up there. Holiday Adventure Pack involves 25 dungeons just waiting for you to conquer them. It's simple, really. You approach the pulsating wall of purple energy, place your hand to it, and before you know it, you're whisked away to some strange pocket dimension filled with wonders and, importantly, terrible creatures. Sure, there were creatures in the wild as you take your afternoon hike, but the dungeons are really where the combat comes forward. You take your trusty sword in hand and smack a variety of folk monsters to ribbons with a mix of heavy and light attacks. There are also a variety of special attacks that you can unlock, as well as various boons and perks, and all sorts to just fit to your playstyle. This means that you begin to look at large groups of enemies a little differently. Ah, you were here waiting for me? No, I was waiting for you. On guard! Your magical spells come into play as well, and given each area has different spells, it means that where you engage in combat is different too. One afternoon you're dropping bombs on fools and blowing them up, then next you're snowboarding through the battlefield, leaving a trail of fire in your wake. Yeah, that one's not quite as good. But the dungeons are really fun. They provide thematic puzzles as well as fights where you end up just trying to solve a variety of problems using specific idea and mechanic, and it progresses in really interesting ways. The slime dungeon is really fun and cool as you work out how to get around by pulling slabs of slime out of the wall, which alternate in an interesting way. The snow dungeons often involve mind-bending and gravity-defying snowboard adventures that warp and twist everywhere. And the swamp brings a series of complicated puzzles that begin to test the old brainwaves. And that's the thing. There are 25 dungeons to do. That could be a lot, but they don't really feel all that repetitive. They could just be stat gates, right? Like, just waves of monsters for a good chunk of the dungeon that requires you to get better gear to complete the stronger dungeons, and so on and so on. But they're not. They become more involved and more thinky as time goes on. Sure, monsters get harder, but so does the rest of the dungeon itself. As you progress in your holiday, you get a sense of mastery over the world. Everything falls into place and the puzzles begin to make sense. Ouch. Even unlocking dungeons is part of the experience. Some of them are simply just waiting to be found, but others involve a puzzle and exploration in of itself to find or unlock, and it's all grounded in engaging in the world, the scenery, and just getting involved in your holiday. There's just quite a bit going on, and it's all really cool. If anything, the opening dungeons suffer from feeling a little clunky at times. They're a bit simple, and it can take a moment to get used to the particulars of the controls. It kind of feels like there's no real challenge or danger, and you begin to wonder if all this holiday has to offer is some pastiche of adventuring distilled down to a consumable commodity. But then, it doesn't become that. Like the greatest of holidays, Dungeons of Hinterberg isn't just sightseeing and sight-slaying. There's a story involved. Louisa hates her job. Don't we all? And in trying to get away, throws herself into the amusements of Hinterberg. But there's a greater story and theme at play here. It examines the effects of tourism on a local community. You get to watch as local holidays and traditions are corrupted and changed to cater to the new market. Everywhere you look, you see this contrast between local town and the steady encroachment of modern capitalism. The abandoned construction lot is just one example, but then you've got the shiny new equipment store that's swish, modern and sleek. It's also opened right next door to Hannah's shop, which is rustic and independent. Her business is threatened by the fast fashion that caters to surface-level slaying. The teenagers who live and grow up here get frustrated as their lives become little more than glorified NPCs in someone else's story. Frustrated in being wrapped up in the tourism, being viewed the same as those people who dress up as characters at Disney World, and they just want to live their life in the town they live in. It's not all capitalism and tourism bad, though. As other businesses begin to boom, the hotels, the restaurants, it brings people in. Is it truly so bad? Well, things are not quite what they seem, and it may have something to do with all of this goo. No, I'm not releasing all the goo. The goo's not me, I swear. I didn't release all the goo, Janice! Dungeons of Hinterberg uses a wonderful bit of environmental storytelling, whether it's the town filled with people and changing scenery, or just you stumbling across all sorts of tourists/adventurers along the mountain trails. There are lots of them in Doberkirgel, and you get another spike around the slopes of Kolmstein. But when you look around Brunelsumpf, the numbers drop off as people realise that maybe a toxic swamp isn't actually that fun. As you progress, there's a growing conspiracy that builds and develops as Louisa contemplates her life, her career, and what she views as responsibilities. You're only in the town for a short time, but it presents this interesting tale all wrapped in 1 month's worth of holiday. Could you imagine being able to take an entire month off? Even in my actual, real human life, not this lie I live in, I'm enjoying a whole 2 days off from my desk job. My manager jokes about never letting me take time off ever again because everything falls apart when I'm not there, and she suffers anxiety dreams. Work becomes us all, and so too shall work undo us. Say what you want about Janice. Trust me, I do. She does make a damn good brownie from time to time. Maybe this office work isn't so bad. So, Dungeons of Hinterberg is just a really fun indie game. It looks beautiful, it has the wonderful aesthetic that is just so bright and colourful, and it makes a great use of it to hit you with some wonderful environments. It's probably weird that the thing I think about most isn't the alpine mountains, the breathtaking snowboarding, or the crimson leaves of the forest. Instead, it's the foul, toxic green swamp that you end up paddling through for the latter part of the final area. You know, the sky is so cloudy and stormy, it has this wonderful aesthetic, the water is just toxic and foul and nothing good can live there. It makes me think of home, Britain. Its social links are really interesting, and you just grow and bond with the town. I was never really sure how much time I actually had on my holiday, so how many days did I want to spend relaxing? How many afternoons did I want to spend at the cinema? But this was great, as it made my decisions feel more important. I feel like that social aspect could be established more though. You get a handful of events which are fun, but there's definitely grounds for this system to expand. Similarly, the hiking element could have been more, perhaps. Getting the ski lift is fun, but that's about it. The map could have just had, I don't know, more going on, just more stuff happening. More hiking trails that were just hiking trails. Make the relaxations at the end of them feel more tempting, perhaps. Overall though, I really like Dungeons of Hinterberg. It was just engaging and nifty, the dungeons are fun and have interesting puzzles that don't go on too long. Even towards the end, when you're just knocking dungeons out one after the other, they themselves don't feel annoying. Get past the slightly awkward opening and you'll find yourself engaged in a delightful holiday experience. Free yourself from the nightmare of the desk. There's a whole world out there just waiting for you, and you just need to get up and seize it. Yeah, that's right. Company's going bust. Lots of layoffs? Interesting. Oh, hello, thank you for watching my video. I was just here making business. Anyway, if you liked my video, please let me know. It was about a great, really fun, interesting indie game. I'd had my eye on it for quite some time since the first trailer came out, because it looked really cool and interesting. As well as, I don't know, just a fun premise of joint holiday and dungeoneering. It really hits that Persona vibe, and I think I just crave more Persona, which is a fun foreshadowing, because tomorrow the Metaphor Resonance game comes out and I'm probably going to lose all my life to that. That's neither here nor there, but anyway, if you have any thoughts about Dungeons of Hinterberg, or games that are similar actually, do let me know, because I want to play them, or hear your thoughts. Otherwise, there are a bunch of videos which you can check out. I don't know why I'm like absolutely baffled as to what I'm doing in this moment. There was a fire alarm earlier, it was a long day. Anyway, I've got a cat who keeps on ruining everything. Over here, there is a video about Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, which I think is a fun video, which recently came out, hopefully. And then down here, you've also got the Dark Cloud Chronicles. It's a sort of retrospective about the Dark Cloud or Dark Chronicles series from level 5. And it's like a great video, I love it. It's done really well. I'm hoping that's kind of what's to be expected. Otherwise, you can click on my face or where my face is to subscribe. And I don't know, see you around. Thank you and goodbye.